The document object model is a way of organizing the elements on your page. So I'm in the chapter 6 and 7 presentation here on slide 37, and this shows you an example of the document object model, or the DOM, both sides of it. In other words, the HTML code and then how that is represented as a hierarchical tree. So if you look at what you have on the outermost level, you have the body on the outermost level. And notice that everything, all the other elements are inside the body, right? The close happens way at the bottom. So that's why you see the body at the top of your tree. The first div with ID, Jerry, Judy, is the next level, right? So that's this div here. The following div, Mark, Suzanne, that's the third. And then the form opens and closes, and this UL opens and closes. These are both at the same level. I can tell because they both close, right? Open and close inside of this one div. So that's why you see the form here and the UL here. They are considered siblings, right? And then once you're inside the form, you have one tag, the input tag. That's right here. It's a child of the form. And then inside the UL, you have two LIs, two list items. Again, they are children of the unordered list. They are siblings of one another. So this would be how the DOM is portrayed if you were to draw it in a hierarchical format. So now, working with that while you're programming in JavaScript, you have to refer to each one of these elements in order to modify something about it. So we begin with the highest level, which is the window itself, and the window is a tab in your browser. The next level then is the document. So let me just page down here. So one of the methods we've worked with in class is the document.writeLine method, and this allows you to write some HTML into your page. And again, if you take a look at this one here creates an H2 tag with an ID and some content. Other things you can do. You can access specific nodes. And so the first one is this document.getElementById. This will return one single node, one single element in your document using the ID to find it. So I'm going to take you over to some code so we can look at how that would work. So if you look at this example here, I have an H1 with an ID, my heading, a P, another P tag, and a button. So inside the script, I'm using this document.getElementById. And then in quotation marks here in the parentheses, I have the ID that I'm using, right? So this refers specifically to this item. And the period then inner HTML allows me to change content. So using all of this, it says I'm going to go change the content, the text here, that appears inside of this one particular element on my page. I set it equal to the new value, so it's going to change what the content is when the page loads. Now you don't see that change because it happens immediately. The script executes immediately, so you'll see this when the page loads. Here's an example of a document.writeLine, and document.writeLine is LN, right, for line here. Here, you can create an entire element if you want. It just creates some text in your HTML. Where does it go? It's going to go at the very end here because that's where my script is, right? So it's just going to load all of these elements sequentially. Another example I want to show is how to change some styling. So that would be document. Again, I like to use the get element by ID because this isolates one particular element. And why don't we change the color of the my heading element again? Okay, so now you would begin with what is it that we're changing? We're changing the style. The property is next, so that's the color. And then you set it equal to the new value. And again, remember that that value is considered a string, so it needs to be in the double quotes. So if you want to change it to blue, again, you could use the RGB color code. You could use the hex code. I'm just going to use the word blue here. Okay, semicolon. And this changes the styling. remember, this is supposed to be your property. So if you want to change a font size, if you want to change a border, right, depending on some event that happens, that would all happen in here. So save this and run this. Okay, and you can see this is the new content that happened in our document.getElementById inner HTML, and the color blue was changed as well.